Second Minister for Transport.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I thank the members for their generous support of the bill and speaking on the bill. The amendments proposed in this bill will ensure that our aviation sector remains robust and secure, so that it will continue to grow and in turn support Singapore's growth. We have embarked on the Changi East project to position our airport decisively for the future. It is a large-scale and complex project, as I've said, to increase our capacities by 60% in the first phase, as Mr. Dennis Tan has mentioned. First, Mr. Zaki asked about industry feedback on the airport development levy, and I think the last question from Mr. Dennis Tan alluded to the ADL setting as well. Let me try to address the issues. Our priority was first to set the ADL rates at a level that is competitive against other hubs airports which have implemented similar charges for airport expansion. We also took into account our strategies for air hub competitiveness. In deciding on the final quantum, we had taken into account the industry's feedback and suggestion for lower rates. For a fact, our initial proposal was to collect $12 from departing passengers or regional destination passengers and $6 from departing transit transfer passengers. But we had revised this downwards following our industry consultation. Why we have a different scale? Well, simply because the transfer passengers do not use the full extent of the airport's facilities, and we thought this layering is a fair approach towards the charges. At the same time, we also noted concerns of the industry that would need time to adjust to its implementation. So while there will not be a staggered implementation, the government will put in place short-term measures to assist airlines. This will help cushion the transitional impact on airlines and their business operations. Details are still being worked out. Mr. Zaki also rightly pointed out that the aviation industry is very volatile, easily susceptible to external shocks. Hence, we must have in place a robust system that can provide for the long-term financial sustainability of the aviation system. Specifically, Mr. Zaki Mohamad spoke about the deployment of the reserve fund. Indeed, the reserve fund will act as a buffer against significant shocks, such as a downturn of the economy or a global pandemic, as I mentioned earlier, the SARS outbreak. CWS, when the SARS outbreak actually happened, then the airport operator introduced a temporary rebate in landing charges. This helped our airline partners tide over the challenging operating environment and ensure that Changi Air Hub remained resilient. The reserve fund aims to serve a similar purpose, to help our airport partners, which include airlines and also ground handling agents during these potential difficult periods, and to position them for recovery. This will then minimize the impact on businesses and workers in the aviation sector. Beyond support for our airport partners, we are also strengthening our aviation system by optimizing the use of airport resources and improving operational efficiency. Mr. Zaki spoke about the new airport capacity management scheme and asked how the new scheme would enable more efficient use of Changi. As traffic through Changi Airport increases, slot misuse will place a heavy strain on our aviation system. The proposed scheme in the bill will have a strong deterrent effect against deliberate and repeated slot misuse by airlines. For example, the maximum quantum of $100,000 would wipe out any profits from abusing any slots to operate a flight. Mr. Dennis Tan spoke quite extensively about the pollution issues. Let me try to address the 5 different questions as best as I can. On the air pollution, I think this is why the Singapore government has embarked on this COSAIA effort, the Carbon Offsetting and Reduction Scheme for international aviation on a voluntary basis. We want to make sure that the aviation system is sustainable. So, together with the noise pollution that the member mentioned, We have not done a study on the air or noise pollution, but from my own experience, the aircraft that comes into Changi have newer technologies, newer engines. So the pollution index is lower, the noise index is also lower. Furthermore, because of our urban planning, Changi Airport is situated to the east of Singapore, away from the populace. That is a design that has served us very well for the last 40, 50 years, moving from Paya Lebar to Changi. So the noise the aircraft brings in the dead of night is a lot lower. And as far as I remember, it does not impact on the environment in terms of noise for residents in the east side. The improvement of aircraft technologies, basically the engines, will further allow us to have a sustainable regime for the aviation industry to grow. So beyond Singapore, internationally, aircraft engine standards in terms of air pollution and noise pollution are being enhanced each and every time new engines come online. We will consider Mr. Tan's proposal if we should do a study, especially on air pollution. For the pollution of vehicular support to the airport, there are various measures we take beyond the airport system. So if you look at the whole Ministry of Transport arena, we will encourage more public use. There will be a MRT line straight to T5. We hope to increase the public mode share of passengers to Changi Airport Terminal 5. And beyond this, we have put in place a vehicular emissions regime for vehicles in Singapore as it is, a new regime that raises the standards of minimizing air pollution. And we are already experimenting and promoting the use of electric cars on our roads. All these measures combined will hopefully dampen any increased air pollution due to the new roads that may be leading up to T5. But ultimately, the government's position is to go car light. We have limited the growth of cars and other vehicles, and for car growth, it's down to 0 now. So we do take this very, very seriously, and we'll continue to monitor the amount of pollution arising from this new road in the future. And Mr. Tan mentioned about the security issues together with the RSAF. Well, the third runway is not a new runway, and operations between the Singapore Air Force and the Civil Aviation Authorities has been ongoing for many, many years. Paya Lebar today is still a co-use airport, even though it is hardly ever visited by civil liners. But Paya Lebar is ready for civil diversions. So measures have been in place for many, many years to deal with civil-military co-use. In fact, in Changi East, the military runway used to be runway 3. Now the combination means that the Air Force has moved out temporarily. In time to come, they will have a co-use facilities again. The measures taken and the SOPs taken, I probably will not be at liberty to discuss here, but they have been in place for many years. And with that, I think I have addressed most of the questions from the members. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, may I conclude that with this bill, we will have the levers to support the Air Hub in growing from strength to strength, so that it continues to remain a success factor for Singapore and bring benefits for Singapore and Singaporeans. Thank you very much.
The question is that the bill be now read a second time. As many as are of the opinion say aye. To the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
The Aviation Miscellaneous Amendments Bill.
Second Minister, committee stage what day?
Now, sir, I beg to move that Parliament immediately resolve itself into a committee on the bill.
The question is that Parliament will immediately resolve itself into a committee on the bill. As many as are of the opinion say aye. To the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is that clauses 1 to 25 stand part of the bill. As many as are of the opinion say aye. To the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Bill to be reported. Second Minister for Transport.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to report that the bill has been considered in committee and agreed to without amendment.
Third reading what day?
Now, sir, I beg to move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the bill be now read a third time. As many as are of the opinion say aye. To the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
The Aviation Miscellaneous Amendment Bill.